Harihi Om. Harihi Om. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Madhya Hridayakashe Chidanandamayo Guru Udetu Satatam Samyak Ajnanatimirana Yan Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunmandi Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopnishataihi Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthitataggadena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashyantam Navidu Shuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Ata Ashtadashodhyaya. So Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So that is the 18th chapter, and slowly we are trying to understand what are these two, moksha and the sannyasa. So if you just recall, 7 topics taken by Krishna. What are they? Sannyasa, Jnana, Karma, Karta, Buddhi, and Dhritihi. So these are 6, and finally we are going to see Sukham. What are the 3 types? So in every topic, 3 categories based on 3 gunas are explained, and we discussed. The analysis, if you see, makes one really enlightened about the assorted qualities and functions the same inner personality embodies. So this should enable a person to know of what kind he is and how to improve and enrich himself, whether we are in tamasic category or rajasic or sattvic, and especially if we are rajasic or tamasic category, let us see how to improve. So that is the idea of explaining all the 3 categories in these important topics suggested by Sri Krishna. So now we shall take up the final topic in that list, Sukham. So as usual, the 3 types of Sukham, and we shall start with 18th chapter, verse 36. Sukham Pidanim Trividam Shrunu me Bharatarshava Abhyastat Ramate Yatra Dukkantam cha nigacchati Sukham Pidanim Trividam Shrunu me Bharatarshava Abhyasat Ramate Yatra Dukkantam cha nigacchati. Oh, Arjuna.
Namaskaram, Mama.
No, namaskaram. You listen from me to the threefold happiness, sukha, in which one indulges because of habit and comes to the end of dukkha, which is pain. So dukkhantam, dukkha antam nigacchati. So he comes to the end of dukkha, that is, he removes that pain because of this practice. Ye Bharatashaba Arjuna, idanim trividam sukham shrunu. Now listen to Idanim Trividam Sukham Shrunu. Now listen to the threefold happiness. Sukham means happiness, we know that. Trividam, threefold. Threefold means based on threefold gunas. Everybody wants happiness. But there is a choice with regard to the type of happiness. An intelligent person chooses the right way of happiness. How? By abhyasa, by training, you can learn to enjoy sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic way of the sukham. Anything, good or bad habit, whatever it is, dress, food, anything you take, it is a training. So, since mind can be trained, why can't we train our mind for a good way of happiness? We'll see what are these different ways of the happiness. It's very interesting. Krishna says, Abhyasat ramate yatra. By sheer practice and training, the mind begins to enjoy that or to revel in that. Yatra ramate. What happens? Dukkhantam nigacchati. Dukkha antam. So dukkhantam nigacchati. So because of that, anyone, when he practices, he can see the end of sorrow. All the three sukhams can put an end to sorrow. Then what is the difference among the three sukhams? Krishna is going to define one by one in the next three verses, 37, 38, and 39, which is, obviously dealing with the sattvika sukha, rajasa, and the tamasa sukha. Now, let's see 37 for sattvika sukha. Yattadagre vishamiba pariname mritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam yattadagre vishamiba pariname mritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. See, this sattvic happiness, this is a direct translation of the sloka. Sattvic happiness is said to be that which is said to be like poison in the beginning and like nectar in the end, and which is born out of the clarity of self-knowledge. So this Sukham is born out of the clarity of self-knowledge. So here Krishna defines Sattvika Sukham. See, this type of division, especially because most of the time it appears to be obvious. Sattva Sukham has pure spiritual Ananda, and Ananda which one can derive from following a spiritual way of life, let us say. It is not at the end of the journey, the Sukham what we get, but even when we travel, there is an Ananda. Right from the level of, for example, Karma Yoga, it's all different, the approach, ways, pursuit. So right from the level of Karma Yoga, there is Ananda. At the level of Upasana, there is Ananda. Then, there is one, we have heard many times, Sadhana Chatushte Sampatti, which we get after practicing Karma Yoga. When that is developed, there is Ananda. And the beauty is that Ananda comes from inside. So the Sattvika person, he does not derive Ananda from the external sources. In fact, generally the materialistic people think that the spiritual person is deprived of Ananda, which normally they enjoy. But this Sattvika person, he only knows what is unique inner Ananda. Anyway, we will continue till this thing becomes all right. Yattatakre, agre, initially, it in the Sattva Sukham looks like poison, visham. But at the end, Pariname, at the end, Mritopama, it is like Amrita. So this type of Sukham is called Sattvika. And the word here used is Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. So, the Sukham is based on self-knowledge, Atma Buddhi. It is based on self-knowledge. So, it is unique in the way that is, it's almost permanent. Because any knowledge, we don't lose. Whatever be the knowledge, especially this knowledge, once it is gained, we don't lose. On the other hand, it slowly, improves in the sense, the clarity of this self-knowledge, Atma Jnana, Atma Buddhi, here Buddhi means Jnana. So it continuously, in fact improves because of clarity, which we get when we discuss, when we again talk about it or do mananam, we get better picture. So this jnanam or Atma Buddhi is, there is absolutely no loss at all. This is one thing which one should understand, and why it is said initially it is like visham, that is poison. Any of this practice, it is of course an uphill task, we can say. It's not simple. So there is that's why it is initially it is painful in the sense because you have to follow certain disciplines till we attain that final, the knowledge, self-knowledge. We have to take pain. That's why it is initially it is said it is painful. But once we know we are going to finally attain that, this pain is not felt so much. So, because of, see, anything is like that. Even people who are going to, let's say, Tirupati or any of these places, it is not easy. You might have to climb all these Chardham, Atharan, it's difficult. But because we know that we are going to finally be there, you don't feel the, what is that, the pain. That's what it's said here. We don't feel the pain. Just a minute, just now it has come. So the sheer knowledge about my nature, and once you practice, we also know the knowledge of the nature of the world and knowledge of the nature of God, all the three. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Swarupa, Jnanena. So once we know the self, other two, that is Jagat and Ishvara, that Jnana also we get. So we do not require actually anything else. The sheer understanding generates fullness, generates peace. Second chapter, there is a slogan which Atmaniyeva Atmana Atmana Tushtaha Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. Remaining all the time. All the time means what? Understanding. Whatever we say is that only. So that sort of understanding gives peace. So, and the glory of this Ananda, as we have seen, there is no loss at all. So even when we are taking something else, doing some other thing, it remains all the time. So Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. As we saw, that the Atma Buddhi is Atma Jnana. Prasada means tranquility, relaxed condition, a stress-free state of mind. So the Atma Buddhi Prasada means the tranquility of the mind born out of self-knowledge, and the tranquility generates an Ananda. So there is in Viveka Chudamani, I think it is a very famous 119 sloka. Visuddha Sattvasya Guna Prasadaha Swatmana bhuti parama prashanti. The Swatmana bhuti is parama prashanti. So what happens? Tripti. So total contentment. Praharsha. Tripti praharsha paramatmanishta. That is delight. The paramatmanishta yaya sadanandarasam smrchati. So all the time we feel that remain there, and that sadananda all the time that remains. Absolutely there is no loss. So that's why it says Atma Buddhi Prasadajam, a joy which is born out of tranquility, which itself is born out of self-knowledge. That Vidyananda is Sattvikananda. So, even though when we are practicing, we saw earlier, even though it is a little painful, if we remember the goal, finally we are going to reach there, then the pain appears, it doesn't appear to be so bad. So this type of sukham, which appears to be painful in the beginning, and parinama means at the end, amrutopamam, it is like nectar. So that sukham, such an ananda, which is born out of so initially, the karma yoga, which leads us to sadhana chatushya sampatti. That is first stage. That will itself give ananda. Later, atma ananda. That ananda is called sattvika sukham, sattvik pleasure. So now let us see rajasic sukham. It is just opposite of this. 38. Vishayendriya samyoga yattadakre mruthopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukham rajasamsmritam. Vishayendriya samyoga yattadakre mruthopamam pariname vishamiva tatsuham rajasamsmritam. So this rajasic happiness is said to be that it is just opposite, which is like nectar in the beginning and like poison in the end. And it is born out of the contact. Vishendriya samyoga. It is born out of contact between sense objects and sense organs. So, rajasic pleasure, Krishna defines like this. As all those pleasures which are born out of sensory contact. World consists of sense objects that we know. All the Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And we have got the 5 sense organs. And because of their association, contact, what happens like nice music, nice picture, nice smell, nice taste, similarly nice touch, all these 5 sense organs, all of them will certainly give ananda. But any of these contact, they are not permanent. And therefore, the contact born pleasure is also not permanent. Vishayendriya samyoga. Vishaya, Indriya, Samyoga. Vishaya means sense objects. Indriya means sense organs. Samyoga means contact. Actually, the contact is not natural. We have to work for that contact and create a sort of atmosphere in which there will be no disturbance around. I should enjoy that contact without disturbance. If you have that, you will have that ananda. Here it is called initially Amrutottamam, as in Satvika Yoga it comes at the end. Here, initially it appears to be like that. That means agre means initially, in the beginning. Anything, music or film, anything, let us take. Any sensory pleasures are definitely very nice, but only in the beginning. Agre amrutopam. And even if you enjoy them, all the time, you cannot hold any object permanently in contact. The time or kalam brings separation. Whether you like or not, a time which brings things together, the very time separates things. Samyoga is because of kala, that is time. Similarly, viyoga, separation, also is because of kala. And when that viyoga comes, separation comes, it is going to be painful. Actually, any example we can take, whether it is food, music, even a film show, sports set, any of these things. When we are seeing it, it's nice, but once it ends, the sukha or the pleasure also ends, the joy also ends. Even eating, suppose you like some sweet or some fruit, first when you take it, so nice, you enjoy really. But second piece, third piece, when it goes on, after some time you don't even feel like looking at it. By commerce, there is a term, law of diminishing utility. So when you go on eating, after some time the curve goes up and then comes down. So parinami, the consequence of all the sensory pleasures, at the end, pariname vishamiva, it is like poison. When that pain, that pleasure ends, and then pain comes. Tatsuham rajasam smritam. Such a pleasure is rajasic pleasure. So we have to give up this rajasic pleasure. If it is not possible, or if you do not give up totally the rajasic pleasure, at least even if we have them, we have to keep sattvic ananda as a backup. If that backup is not there, that is sattvic ananda, we totally depend upon the world for everything. That is called samsara. We call it samsara. For everything we depend on the world. So, the sukham, that is the topic of sukham, even though it is experienced, it is one and the same. But based on the way that we can we gain our happiness. It is divided into these three types: Sattvika, Rajasa, and Tamasa, Sukham. We saw first two, Sattvik and Rajasic. Let us see the third also, Tamasic Sukham. It is 39. Yadagre chanubante cha Sukham mohanamatmanah Nitralasya pramodhotam Tattamasamudahritam Yadagre chanubante cha Sukham mohanamatmanah Nitralasya pramodhotam Tattamasamudahritam. The sukha that deludes one in the beginning as well as in the end, which is born out of sleep, lethargy, and inattention. So this is tamasic sukham. It is based on the philosophy. Ignorance is bliss. So, sleep is bliss. Laziness is bliss. So, based on that, a tamasic person who continues to be lazy and enjoys that ananda, that type of sukham is tamasa sukham. Tat sukham nidralasya pramadhotam. Nidra means sleep. It's a source of ananda. Alasya means laziness. All the time, summa irukkuradhu, non-working. And pramade means carelessness, negligence. Let anything happen. Whatever happens, let it happen. So, for this tamasic person, the fatalism is an ideal philosophy. We can't do anything. Whatever happens, it will come. That sort of thing. Whereas a rajasic person believes future prosperity. And it is in my hand, he thinks. And he is an ambitious person. And at least materialistically, he works hard because he wants to earn money and enjoy life. So, he works hard. If you take a sattvic person, he also puts forth efforts because he is interested in Sajana Chatushte Sampatti, Karma Yoga, Chitta Suddhi, Guru Prapti, Jnana Prapti. So a sattvic person uses free will. Rajasic person also uses free will. If you take tamasic person, he does not believe in free will. Even if you argue and if he accepts, he does not use it. And therefore, his life is spent mostly on nidra, alasya, and pramada. Nidra, that is sleep. Sleep means even daydreaming is sleep. Alasya, all the time. Laziness, pramada, carelessness. So these are the three types of sukham explained. See, if you further analyze, we saw Sattvic Sukham is it's permanent. Because we know that all the time I am that we are understood. And whatever we have to do, we do it. But keeping that backup of Sattvika Sukha. That is that Atmanishtha. The Rajasic person, what happens? He enjoys life. That enjoyment is based on external things. And we saw that it is not permanent. So what is that Ananda he gets? We have seen earlier, but again, let us once more discuss. We have seen that I am the only source of peace, happiness and security. Many times we have said. The Rajasic persons, what happens when they get some, that is, when the sense object comes in contact with sense organs, there is a pleasure comes. Second chapter again, we have seen so many times these things. But it remains for some time and goes away. Why it is like that? What is that Ananda? Let us say, we want something, we desire for something, anything small or big. For example, a young fellow, after studies and all, he gets into a job. And let's say he wants to get a scooter or motorbike. Nowadays there are a lot of choices. And he wants to buy. So a desire, starts. So desire means what? Normally, I am all the time, because I am by nature, I am the happiness. I am the only source of happiness. From there, when desire comes, it is slowly brought down. That means you go away from the happiness, that natural happiness all the time which is there. It comes down. So desire brings us down. When the fellow gets some money, either from the office where he works as a loan or from parents, or he earns and then gets that amount. When he buys the bike or scooter, what happens? This desire which he had, which has pulled him down from his original position, which was Ananda. So desire actually totally vanishes. So he goes back to that original position, which is Ananda. So that is real Ananda. After some time, one more desire comes. That's why it is not permanent. So this sense organ and the sense objects, all the time the sense objects and it goes on changing its desire. So it doesn't appear to be permanent. So once it is understood, I am all the time, I am the only source of peace, happiness and security. Then there is a backup. The persons who have understood this, there is a backup. Even if he is not able to get the bike or something like that, and if he has this backup, or he has understood what is it, what my real nature is, then he doesn't bother. So remaining there, for convenience, he buys a bike, buys a house, whatever it is. He is not depending on that for his sukham or happiness. That's what we have seen all the three. Whereas the tamasic fellow, he has absolutely no idea about this. So for him, the life is totally different. At least the Rajasic guy, after some time with his experience, he understands that I'm not able to get the happiness from the external things. So slowly he understands. So he turns and he tries to go in and understand what is it. And he comes to the spiritual line and he attempts. And that is the thing, we call Ananda, and why these Rajasic people are not able to be there permanent. So this is the thing. Ananda is my real nature. So those people who have understood this, we'll see a little later. So for them, nothing can disturb all the time. He'll be in that state. Atmanishtha means he need not sit and be in meditation all the time. So wherever he interacts, so we call it interactional meditation or interactional sadhana. When all the time alert, nothing affects the mind. So this is the type of life, a spiritual life, a spiritual pursuit, which we understand from these type of three gunas. That is the sukham, depending on these three types. Once it is understood clearly, then the knowledge really comes and we try to pursue it and understand very clearly. So all the time it is there. Again, it is, and when we are in the state, we don't know at all. Even if you see, when they are normal, without any pain or any such thing, we don't even note it. Normal condition, we don't even note it. Whenever there is pain, headache or stomachache or toothache, so there is a pain. So we come down from that original healthy state, we come down, and when we get some tablet and we pop it up, then the pain goes and we come to the original position, in which we were there yesterday. But like that, once we understood that's why that word backup is used. Sattvic, backup. If it is there, whatever happens, we can remain there and do whatever thing comes to us. In fact, this is the theme of Gita. Just to go on doing. We will see again further after 1840 and other slokas. So we will see now 40th verse. Natadasti Tivyamba Divi Deveshu Bahunah Sattvam Prakrijay Muktam Yadevi Syatri Bhirgunai Nadasti Prithvivyamba Divi Deveshu Bahunah Sattvam Prakrijay Muktam Yadevi Syatri Bhirgunai. Either upon the earth, this is the translation, or in the heaven, and amongst the gods, there is none who is not subjected to the workings of these three gunas, which are born of nature, Prakriti. So, no entity is free from these three gunas. Means every entity has got these three gunas. Everything. The whole creation is of three gunas in different proportions. We saw when we were in 14th chapter. And therefore, Krishna concludes saying that this threefold classification, actually you can do with regard to anything, everything. Krishna says, what I have done is a sample to show how to do that. So all these 7 topics we saw. Tribihi gunaihi muktam sattvam nasti. Sattvam means here an entity living or non-living, sentient or insentient. Sattvam means any entity of this category. Here, the word sattvam does not mean sattva guna. The word sattvam means any entity. Tribihi gunaihi muktam nasti. Any of these, they are not free from these three gunas. No entity in the creation is free from these gunas. Gunaihi muktam nasti. They are not free. These three gunas, prakrityayihi gunaihi. Gunas are from the original cause of the creation called prakriti. We know that prakriti. Every time we discuss also. Another Kayana vacha manasendriya buddhyatmanava prakriti swabhava karoma yat sahlam parasmai. So prakriti in swabhava, that is called guna. Because of that, it is born of prakriti. So every entity has got these three gunas. If we analyze what is the immediate cause of any of these beings, is Panchabhutas. And the Panchabhutas are the five elements. They also have the three gunas. Therefore, their products, the world and so many entities, they also have. So, if we understand or find out the five elements have got three gunas, we will find that their cause is what? We saw that, no? Prakriti, Maya. Therefore, Krishna says, Prakriti gunai vi muktam nasti. So, because Prakriti is there, their guna, they are all there. It is not there is nobody, no entity free of these three gunas. It is not only here. Prithivya, whether the entity belongs to the Prithvi is Bhulogam, Bhumi. Dividvesheshu, among the gods in the heaven. Divi Deveshu. So even gods in the heaven. So Krishna says every human being is also governed by three gunas, which means you as an individual sadhaka also, your thoughts, your actions, your words, your activities, your behavior, everything is governed by the three gunas. If you understand the three gunas, what happens? We can guide our life appropriately. That is, to improve qualities and refine through that refinement of life. So practices like sensory moderation, mental sublimation, all these things are necessary. So this knowledge is very useful for spiritual sadhaka. P8. Okay. Just quickly see what you want. This is completely different topic. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Sudranam Cha Parantapa कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवाय गुणैः ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविषाम् शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैः गुणैः. Activities of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas and Sudras, they are well divided on the basis of their quality shaped by nature's gunas. That is the meaning. So I think we'll see the details in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaskar.